Hi there and welcome to LeadingME Wee Gems. Today is all about motivation. So are you a master of motivation? We all are. It's just sometimes we don't realise we are. So we're going to have a wee look at what motivation actually is, as well as who can you motivate. And I'm going to start with Eleanor Roosevelt. Motivation is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it. It's an absolute cracker. So I'm going to say it again, it's so good. Motivation is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it. So good. And that is what motivation is. Now, when it comes to what motivation is, it's the desire to do something. So my motivation is a desire to do something that will motivate me to do it. Often we set ourselves up goals and various things that we think we should, but that's not motivation. And the worst part of it is we don't attach it either to our why or our purpose. So often people will have goals in mind, but it's a goal because they think an external force has put it upon them that that's their goal. Well, if you want to be motivated by that, then you need to find something within your desire, your why, your purpose, before you can do it. If you don't, then you'll find you miss the mark and you procrastinate like hell over it, okay? So if you want to alleviate procrastination from your life, the best thing is to find your why. What is that about? And find the why in whatever target has been given to you, whatever goal has been given to you. If it's not your own goal and, let's say your company, I was in sales for many years, the company had goals. They handed to me that I handed to my teams. So it wasn't a case of that was my goal as such. That was the company goal that I then had to buy into. So I had to find the desire, the motivation to then succeed in that goal. The biggest thing of all is, where's the desire? Where's the why? Where's my why for this? So I would often ask in interviews, I would ask people, what are you motivated by? It was one of my questions. A lot of people stumbled over it. A lot of people mistook their motivation. They often, being in sales, people would say money motivated them. Money never motivates anyone. I'll guarantee that. We think it does. It's what the money can bring us. That's the gem. So I would often then, when they would say money, I would illustrate why it wasn't, which I may do one day for you guys. But as well as that, I would then say, so what is it you want the money for? Because that was really the deeper question. That was the one thing that I knew I could find what it is that they loved. And then I can build an environment of motivation for that person, right? So if you don't know your why and you don't know what you desire, then you'll find motivation really difficult on anything, any scale. So it's really important. When I bring people in as clients, the first thing I do is I've got an online course called Decision Making Made Easy. Everyone goes through that when they work with me. And it's available for anybody to use. I've got it out there for anybody to do. But when people come and work with me, they go through that whole course, which help them work out deeply, not just surface level. What is their values? What is their why, their purpose, and what is their vision? That's the three things they need to know. Now, a lot of people who I work with think they have these down pat because, I work with people who run businesses or are in C-suite, and I've got some athletes that I work with, and they sometimes do believe that they know what these things are. But when we really dig deep and they really get it, they can attach motivation to that like there's no tomorrows. So that's what I'd say. You really, really need to know what motivates you, as in desire and your why, okay? Once you've got that, that means it's much easier. Second question that I've got there is, who can you motivate? Well, this is the bad news for those in particular who are leaders of people. So that includes family members, children, and your teams, right? Your friends. If you're a leader of any of these, then you may think that you can motivate them, but you cannot. For the life of me, you cannot motivate anyone. You can only motivate yourself. However, you can inspire, you can coach, and you can mentor. Those are the three things that you've got in your little tool bag that you can take out each time, right? But don't think for a minute you can motivate anyone. No one can be motivated by anyone else but themselves. As a leader of people, I would often look at what it was that people were motivated by. So I would ask a lot of questions to find out about the motivation and actually get to know them on a different level, because that would help me to build an environment of motivation. And that's a different thing. That's me understanding, and then that environment, making sure that the environment that they need, and that's as an individual as well as the team environment. Okay, as individuals, what was the best thing that was going to bring the best out of them? So that me needing to know their desires and their why was so important. And it's a thing that people miss time and time again, right? So let's just make sure that we understand what others' motivations are. And that means our children too. You know, we often think, especially people in families, we often think we know the person just because we've lived with them for a long time. We don't. I can guarantee people don't know you as well as you know you, right? And sometimes you don't know you well. So the leading me part is I need to know me well to be able to let people know what I want and what I need. Okay? Oprah Winfrey has a really good saying, which is, motivation is the backbone of success. And that success means whatever success is for you, right? But motivation is the backbone of success. Without it, even the most talented individuals can falter. So if we don't know our why and we don't know our desires, then to be honest, we will falter time and time again. So I thought, when I was thinking through what I wanted to do with motivation, what people often ask and what they're looking for, I thought about how we go about motivating ourselves. And a lot of the time we are not motivating ourselves. We focus on the negatives of things rather than the positives. So I also thought about how we go about what we think is motivating others, but the environment that we build for others, which is negative rather than positive. So I thought I would spend a wee bit of time on this too. So the challenge for us is that we have been conditioned, if you like, to give feedback to people to help them grow and develop. But the problem with that feedback all the time is that we don't spend our time on the really good feedback. I can't tell you how many times I'm in a service industry, for example, a hotel or a restaurant, and I get amazing service and I ask to see the manager, and the manager comes over and the manager's got a pen and a piece of paper. Yes, can I help you? And I'll say, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that Mary over there, who's been serving, has been amazing. When she done X, Y, and Z and brought this to the table and how she answered, and always specific feedback, always, always, always specific, and blah, blah, blah. That made me feel amazing. And how she took her time to do that was so good. Thank you so much. And they go from to, oh, right. They should not be surprised, because we should be feeding back to people. This makes me feel good. This is leading me at its best. I feel fantastic when I'm appreciating good service, people, things that are there. I feel amazing. Why wouldn't I share that? But often we'll say, oh yeah, that was really great. We'll acknowledge it to the person that's sitting with. Yeah, that was really great service. Yeah, she's really good. Yeah, yeah, thanks very much. And we leave, right? But we don't actually say to the person, thank you so much. That was fantastic. And, bring me your manager. I often love to go to the manager and then say to the individual, by the way, I've just said to your manager, because it gives it a double. And I'm also saying to the manager, you've done a great job in training that person. Okay. But we don't do this enough. So my challenge to you is that today and each day going forward, you find 2 or 3 things to be positively appreciating in others and speak them out loud. If you only get 1 a day, that's brilliant in comparison to what you usually do, because we all usually go about not being present and not focusing on that, great feedback. The thing I can be really good at is feeding back the crap, that negative, did you enjoy your meal? No, I didn't actually. Some people are not even good at that. Some people are really, I'll often get, was your meal good? No, actually it wasn't. That's why I've left, whatever it is. And then they go, okay, and they take it away and that's it. That's not good service. Right? You're not going to learn anything from that. Whereas, could you tell me what it was about it? Yeah, it was blah, blah, blah. Right, okay. And people going away fixing it and coming back and saying that's it, fixed. And, whatever they've done for you, whether they've taken the meal off and say, we want people to feel good coming here, blah, blah, blah. That's how it should be done. A lot of the time, though, we don't train our people to do that part well enough. So when they get a complaint, they're not used to it. They don't know what to do with it. And then but in the other case, sometimes we should be complaining, but we don't, right? And we just don't go back. Well, that's unfair on the business. So in both cases, we need to be very specific. Okay, we need to be very specific in feedback. But where we actually do the negative feedback, let's try and do 2 to 1. Right? I used to often look for 5 things before I try and give 1 negative, 5 good stuff to feedback to my people, right? Looking for the things, but not just, oh, thanks very much, that's great, because that becomes boring to people, okay? I'm looking for things that I really loved when you done that, or thank you so much for doing that. Do you know what that done for me? That saved me X amount of time, and that I really appreciate. That's positive feedback. That's not just Mag saying, oh, thanks very much, oh, thanks very much, oh, thanks very much. It wears away and becomes, she always says that, I don't really feel anything anymore. So make sure the wonders of our feedback is specific. And I also thought, I've shared the bar model on occasions, many occasions actually, because it is part of LeadingME. But I thought I'd share it again today because it can't share it too much. The bar model is a behavioural model that I use and I teach to help people feedback to people and help change behaviours. Now you can use this on yourself as well as others. But this can be used again, family, friends, team, whoever it is, we can actually use this. And I want to look at where we usually play in this model. So this is the bar model. We've got behaviour, awareness, and responsibility. LeadingME sits right in the middle of that. So we want to make somebody aware of a behaviour that we want them to accept and change. Okay. And this can be positive as well. I often use where we often feedback, we're saying to someone, you really appreciate what you're doing. So they become aware and they say, well, thanks very much. Yeah, that's great. Do you understand what you're doing? Yeah, it's just something I do. They've become aware, but they're actually not accepting. So we want them to accept and change their behaviour and, really taking that in and changing the shoving it off into a really accepting it and keeping up really good stuff. So really good behaviour can be pushed further as well. But let's just say this was a behaviour that we're looking for somebody to change because it had impacted other people within the team. And we give them behaviour awareness. We tell them through feedback and we say to them, look, when this happened, we noticed that X, Y, and Z and da, and they say, all right, yeah, okay. So going forward, I'm looking for you to change that behaviour. Yeah, I will. And then what happens is the same behaviour comes up again. How many times have we done this? And in families, it happens so many times, especially with kids or your other half, where you're saying, no, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And, you've done this and we need that. And, well, funny enough, you're not even in your LeadingME space of in that middle section where you're just in flow and you are mastering your ego. So your ego is in balance. No, your ego is not in balance at all. And you're shouting from the heavens that they need to change their behaviour. That's not where we want to go. We want to look at how the bar model is going to work for us, and we don't just spend our time up here, behaviour awareness, behaviour awareness, behaviour awareness. We do the BA model rather than the bar model. So we need to get the acceptance part so they become responsible, and then they can commit to change. Okay? So how do we do that? Well, when we get to, I've called out the behaviour, you've said, yes, I can see that. Now I need to go into coaching. And there's a combination here that we need to do. Coaching's in my tool bag. I learned that coaching could be absolutely brilliant. I was not a natural, easy coach. I had to learn this. I may have 60,000 hours under my belt now. Well, more than 60,000. So I'm better at coaching now than I've ever been. But at the beginning, I was very I wanted to tell people what to do, and I couldn't understand why they wouldn't do it. Well, the reason was I was at the top of the bar model, doing the BA model. So acceptance, out the tool bag comes coaching. So what do I then do? Well, I use a combination of good open questions, active listening, summarising, and then hearing the words from them, that's right. So let me explain. Good open questions. They're what, when, who, and what. I tend not to use why. There's 5 open questions. I tend not to use why because sometimes when we use that, depending on the state of mind of the other person, they may see it as, I have an agenda behind it. So why are you doing that? It's like I've already made my mind up on something, and why am I doing that? Okay. So I tend to leave why out. So I use one of the other, the what, when, who, and how. Okay. So I'll maybe say something along the lines of, so what made you do X, Y, and Z? And they may say, well, blah, blah, blah. And say, so who do you think that benefits? Blah, blah, blah. And how do you think the other person felt when? So that's the way to use the open questions. But the big thing on this, get good at open questions, practice them. For some people it's easy, for others they need to keep practicing. Use people to practice them on. Practice them every day when you're out there, rather than closed questions, which are if or can or would or could. They're all closed questions. They're going to give you a yes or no most of the time. Okay, so we want to stay clear, so practice those. Next part is active listening. If you're sitting trying to work out what's going to be your next clever question to ask someone, you ain't listening, let alone active listening. So you need to be active listening to whatever the answer to that question is, so that you can actually form a summary of your understanding of what that person's just said to you. Once you've got them to think about, and when we do that, what happens is they come to their own conclusions over everything. We summarise or paraphrase those words back to them. Have I got this right, that X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C? And they say the words, that's right. Then we know we're there, right? We can then help them move forward to being responsible, to being responsible. That's the beauty part. So that's right is what we're looking for. There's a great book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, who was of the FBI, and it's about negotiation, but wonderful, wonderful book. I love it. And he talks about that's right. But this part of the band model, once we've got that's right, they now get that we've really listened to what they've said. They really get where they're coming from. Now we can help move them forward with more open questions on, so how do you think you could do that differently next time you're in that situation? Boom. Now they take responsibility. Now they will make the changes. We are tapping into their motivation to change, not my motivation to change them, because that ain't ever going to work. So using something like the BAR model, behavioural models, whatever helps you, that can make a big, big difference to moving someone forward with their motivation. Remember, I'm going to leave you with this one from myself. Motivation comes from within. Only you can motivate yourself, but you can inspire others. And you can do that through coaching, through mentoring, and, at the end of the day, through that inspiration of leading me. If I'm leading me and I'm doing this in a way that helps me change behaviour, then others will come to the party and follow. Leading me is about following, okay? Then people will follow my example. And if I'm not critical of them for the hell of being critical, and I'm actually helping them to find their own motivations to change things, then it becomes a wonderful motivational environment for them to be in. And also, may I say, for you to be in as well. So that's motivation. It comes from within, guys. It's only you can motivate. You can inspire others, but only motivate yourself. So find your desire and your why so that you can move forward and motivating yourself each and every day and helping others as you build that motivation environment for those around you. As I say each time, stay true, stay you, and keep bringing out your brilliance. Bye for now.